Siddharth, congratulations for the success of your film Pathaan. The film has emerged as the highest grosser. It has, of course, beaten films such as Bahubali 2 and KGF 2 at the box office. But when you started working on the film, did you have any doubts, or did you expect the film to do such a big number?
We obviously mounting a film like this, like Pathaan, expecting that it will do a certain number. Otherwise, we wouldn't be spending that kind of money on a film like that. The expectation obviously is there. Coming on the back of War, obviously we know that we've tried to make a film in a similar genre, in a similar landscape of action, commercial film, and it's worked very well. So we were hoping that it does a number that is close to War. That was our benchmark, that we should compete with our own selves and try and better ourselves. I was always hoping कि यार ये War से 1 crore ज़्यादा कर ले. That was always my prayer and hope and anticipation. And these numbers, obviously, I don't think even those films that we have beaten had expected they would do those numbers. So those are numbers which come once in a lifetime.
But was that a sense of vindication, or proving everybody wrong? Because there was so much of negativity was floating on the internet with boycott Bollywood trend. In that, when audiences were not going to theaters, we saw last year films of biggest Khan did not do well at the box office. In this season, to deliver a mammoth hit, did you have any doubts about the film?
Honestly, I've been through this a similar phase when War was coming out, when all these actors that you've named, their films had tanked for the last 2 years before War came out, and to run up to that, I had similar feelings that, oh my God, are people not going to theaters to watch big films? The smaller films were doing well at that time. I've said this in an earlier interview also, and I went through that with War when all the tentpole films had crashed, and similar feeling. Deja vu happened when Pathaan was approaching, but I tried to keep a positive mindset, be optimistic like War, and we achieved it again with this time breaking myths and patterns again.
This is your first collaboration with Shah Rukh Khan. What is it about him that surprised you the most? It has been widely said in the West it's Tom Cruise who brought the audiences back to the theater, and in Bollywood it's Siddharth Anand and Shah Rukh Khan.
I think it's the love of people and the love of people for Shah Rukh and for this kind of cinema that has done this. It has proven that if you give them their most loved star in a genre, in a film, that they want to come out in a community and watch it, whistle, hoot, dance, which we've seen in this film, and they get a bang for their buck. They're going to come here. So it's something that just try and not be too indulgent as a filmmaker. Try and indulge the audience more and not yourself. That is a takeaway that I think filmmakers should take when they are attempting a film for the big screen.
There's a lot of talk around building a spy-verse. Will we see Pathaan and Tiger working together on a mission, and Zoya, that's Katrina Kaif, and Deepika's character crossing the paths?
I think that there are options galore and plethora of opportunities. So a lot of permutations and combinations can happen, and maybe new characters come in. So let Adi decide. Yeah.
Pathaan is a big screen experience. It's a slick actioner. There barely any melodrama in the film. Was that always been your approach to make a solid action film? Even there are only 2 songs in the film, and the title track actually comes in the end.
Yeah, even War had 2 songs.
Yeah.
It feels like a musical because of Hrithik and Tiger, but it had 2 songs, and so does Pathaan. It's important that when you have only 2 songs, make sure that they are at least potential chart busters. Like I said, don't indulge in yourself, indulge the audience. So the effort has to be that. And if an action film really is bereft of melodrama, means I wouldn't say melodrama to that extent, but emotions, it won't work. There has to be a certain emotional thread that runs through the film and the action so that it will work. And whatever it is, I mean, you need to find that.
So when you got the script in your hand, which was that one scene that you were looking forward to the most to direct?
I was actually looking forward to Nandini's death, how Jim betrays them cleverly and she dies. That is a sequence in the CDI that I was really looking forward to, and actually we shot it very early in the film, and when I saw it, I actually felt this is one of the best shot scenes of my career. Yeah. And I was very, very happy and proud of that sequence. I really felt it, and in fact I had always a tear in my eye when Pathan's character salutes her. I always got a tear in my eye, even till the screening date. Every edit, every BGM, every mix, every time I saw it on screen, I had a tear in my eye, and it always moved me. And that was very important to have a scene like that at the end of Act 2 for the impetus of the third act. It was very, very important, and that worked silently. That's a big, big plus for the film.
You know, each film has that one thematic scene which tells us about the message of the movie or film क्या कहने की कोशिश कर रही है. According to you, which was the thematic scene from Pathan that you think carries the message of the film?
I think it's also a sense of nationalism in how you perceive it. It's how Jim saw the nation and how Pathan sees the nation, and how Jim feels betrayed by his nation and how Pathan feels that always stand by the nation. So there is a sense of difference of nationalism. I think both are nationalistic. That's a core fundamental of the film.
Few years ago on a roundtable, you said on paper we can do whatever we want, but it's all in the hands of actors and external factors that makes a scene memorable. So if I can ask you to pick which scene here in Pathan that you think had a big impact or stood out because of the actors.
Like I said, it's Dimple Ma'am's death, Nandini's death sequence. Everybody outperformed themselves. If Dimple Ma'am hadn't performed the way she did, or the actors behind, the scientists who died, didn't emote that way, feeling the pain yet being strong, and Shah Rukh sir, him with just his eyes, his look, his hand when it comes and touches Dimple Ma'am's hand, when he looks at his hand, looks at her, and then salutes her, that every piece of that puzzle just fit in so well, and I would attribute that sequence a lot of the reason for the success.
You know, you belong to a film family. Your grandfather Indra Raj Anand was a legendary film writer. He has written films like Aha and Mard and
Safar,
Shehenshaah.
Sangam,
Yes.
Ek Duje Ke Liye, whatnot.
A frequent collaborator with Raj Kapoor, with Manmohan Desai.
Yeah.
Do you think now it's the responsibility is there on your shoulder to take the family legacy forward?
I think I've done it. How much more you want to load me with here? I think I have done my bit. Yet, I think I just need to sustain it and just not drop that, the legacy, that's all. Yeah.
Is there an enduring memory you have of like maybe talking to your grandfather while growing up when he was working on one of these films? I'm sure Shehenshaah, you must be what?
Yeah, 8.
Yeah.
I was 7, 8 in the making. I just remember him having a lot of power, a lot of authority over the filmmaker and over the actor. That is, I think, a large reason why 70s and 60s saw the best films, because writers got their respect. Whether it is my grandfather or there is Salim Saab and Javed Saab, they got due respect and the authority to dictate. I saw that when he would walk on the set, whether it was Mr. Bachchan also, I would see that respect that he had and the fear that if there was a scene of a conflict between the director and the actor, if he would come in, his word would prevail over anybody else's. I think that's what I learned, and I feel I do give that respect to my writers, and I feel if we do that again, then cinema will see golden days all over again.
Now let's talk about the music of Pathan, which I think was also a big factor for the film.
Huge.
So you have a very solid equation with Vishal Shekhar. They said they made a lot of versions of both songs, Besharam Rang and title song Pathan. What brief did you give them for the music?
My general brief to them obviously is to give me crowd pleasing music and don't be indulgent, and I don't want to see your art and craft. Please leave that for your personal albums. They do that, they do great work. But I say for me, please give me commercial music. And I think Vishal and Shekhar both know the kind of tunes I like. So first we lock the melody. They know exactly what scale and what zone is my kind of music. So they work around that. And so I don't have to really discuss much with them. I just tell them I need this is the situation and this is the vibe. And they come up with it. We go through a lot of tunes for weeks, sometimes months, but they get it.
Would you please like to share any anecdote from your music sitting? They said a lot of galis were also exchanged.
They'll be better off because if I tell you about it, we'll have to censor it. But we've had some crazy sessions where it gets a little ugly. But I think the end joy is something which it supersedes everything. I give them a brief and a zone. I say, like, if you have a title like Pathaan and if you have Mr. Shah Rukh Khan in it, it'll be great to have a title song in a Qawwali format, but yet have a groove that is very contemporary. So that was my brief, and they came up with the melody. Obviously, it takes time to piece things together, and we came up with various iterations of the sound of it. The melody was locked instantly, but the sound of it went through a gamut of changes, and I'm not easily satisfied when it comes to music. And I was changing music right up till we were leaving for the shoot, and that happens with me. I'm going through that even with Fighter right now. I'm constantly changing. Even after they've delivered the album to me, I'm constantly calling them to redo it. In fact, this evening again we're sitting on one of the songs of Fighter, which is complete, but I'm redoing things. That's my process of music.
Now I do this small segment. It's about how a director is on the set. So requesting you to please give us few quick answers. What is the most common phrase that you use on set?
I can't say it.
What's the most number of takes that you have ever done?
Not really. I think I have been fortunate to have great actors, and 4 or 5. Because after that, it just becomes very mechanical.
Do you prefer music or no music on set?
No music. Why? When you're shooting a song or a scene?
Otherwise, you
No,
to set the moods.
No. Unless it's a scene where it's a heroic walk or something, or a workout, or a gym sequence, training sequence. Otherwise, no music.
Do you have any rules for your crew and especially for your ADs on set?
No, yeah, we are very chilled out. Yeah. We have a lot of fun. We're a team. We're like friends and buddies. That's the atmosphere I have. That's why I can call them what I like.
You delivered a mammoth hit with Pathaan, which has so many explosions. So, is Siddharth Anand prefers real explosion or CGI?
I think I've done real explosions and action in 16 years ago. I think in Tararampam in my second film. So I think it's something that I've evolved to, adapting to scale and relevance. So I can give them bigger experiences. So it's a hybrid of real and CGI, and that's what is the way ahead.
Ever kept anything from a film set?
Ever kept anything? Claps, clapboards.
And finally, if someone has never seen anything that you've directed, which is the first film that you'd like them to watch of yours and why?
Of mine?
Yeah.
Salam Namaste. We were there in Australia for 110 days, all the actors, all the crew. It was a start to finish film, my first film. And it's very gutsy of Adi to allow that. A first time director to just go off to Australia and shoot his entire film and come back. And I think it just shows what a man he is. I would not have the guts to let a first time filmmaker to just go up, disappear for 3 months and come back with a film.
I thought you talk about creating Javed Jafri's character, because I know people who actually went twice only to watch.
Do you know he has only 4 scenes in the film?
Yeah.
But it's so memorable. It's actually a lot of collaboration between what Abbas Tyrewala wrote and what Javed sir brought onto it. Javed sir really improvised on it, and we just wanted a character who mimics sort of Mr. Feroz Khan and his body language. But that was the starting point. But Javed sir made it his own and just brought in so much improvisation and made it legendary.
Siddharth Anand, wishing you lots of success for your next film. And we have lots of expectations from you. I know you're gonna outdo yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.